Okay, daily Bible reading, March 12th. After wandering in the wilderness for nearly 40 years, Israel receives Moses' final instructions before he dies. Moses' final instructions. These are the words that Moses spoke to all the people of Israel while they were in the wilderness of the east of the Jordan River. They were camped in the Jordan Valley near Suf between Paran on the side of Tophel, Laban, Hazroth, and De Zahab on the other. Normally, it takes only 11 days to travel from Mount Sinai to Kadesh, going by the way of Mount Seir. But 40 years after the Israelites left Egypt, on the first day of the 11th month, Moses addressed the people of Israel, telling them everything the Lord commanded him to say. This took place after he had defeated King Sihon of Amorites who had ruled in Heshbon, and King Og of Bashan, who had ruled in Ashtaroth and Edrei. While the Israelites were in the land of Moab, east of the Jordan River, Moses carefully explained the Lord's instructions as God follows. When we were at Mount Sinai, the Lord our God said to us, "You have stayed at this mountain long enough. It is time to break camp and move on. Go to the hill country of the Amorites and to all the neighboring regions, the Jordan Valley, the hill country, the western foothills, the Negev, the coastal plain. Go to the land of the Canaanites and to Lebanon, and all the way to the great Euphrates River. Look, I am giving all this land to you. Go in and occupy it, for it is the land of the Lord swore to give you to your ancestors Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and to all their descendants." Moses appoints leaders for each tribe. Moses continued, "At the time I told you, you are too great a burden for me to carry all by myself. The Lord your God has increased your population, making you as numerous as the stars. And may the Lord your God of your ancestors multiply you 1,000 times more and bless you as he promised. But you are such a heavy load to carry. How can I deal with you and all your problems and bickering? Choose some well-respected men from each tribe who are known for their wisdom and understanding, and I will appoint them as your leaders." Then you responded, "Your plan is a good one." So I took the wise and respected men you selected from your tribes and appointed them to serve you as judges and officials over you. Some were responsible for 1,000 people, some for 100, some for 50, some for 10. At that time I instructed the judges, "You must hear the cases of your fellow Israelites and the foreigners living among you. Be perfectly fair in your decisions and impartial in your judgments. Hear the cases of all of those who are poor as well as those who are rich. Do not be afraid of anyone's anger, for the decisions you make are the decisions of God. Bring me the cases that are too difficult for you, and I will handle them." At that time I gave you instructions about everything you were to do. Scouts to explore the land. Then, just as the Lord our God commanded us, we left Mount Sinai and traveled through the great and terrifying wilderness, as your relatives remembered, and headed toward the hill country of the Amorites. When we arrived at Kadesh Barnea, I said to you, "You have now reached the hill country of the Amorites that the Lord our God is giving us. Look, he has placed the land in front of you. Go occupy it as the Lord your God of your ancestors has promised you. Do not be afraid, do not be discouraged." But you all came to me and said, "First, let's send out scouts to explore the land for us. They will advise us the best routes to take and which towns we should enter." This seemed like a good idea to me, so I chose 12 scouts, one from each of your tribes. They headed for the hill country and came to the valley of Eshcol and explored it. They picked some of the fruit and brought it back to us, and they reported, the land the Lord our God has given us is indeed a good land. Israel rebels against the Lord. But you rebelled against the command of the Lord your God and refused to go in. You complained in your tents and said, "The Lord must hate us." That's why he had brought us from Egypt to here, to hand us over to the Amorites to be slaughtered. Where can we go? Our brothers have demoralized us with their report. They tell us the people of the land are taller and more powerful than we are, and their towns are large, with the walls rising high into the sky. We even saw giants there, the descendants of Anak. But I said to you, don't be shocked and afraid of them. The Lord your God is going ahead of you. He will fight for you, just as you saw him do in Egypt, and you saw how the Lord your God cared for you all along the way as you traveled through the wilderness, just as a father cares for his child. Now he has brought you to this place, but even after all he did, you refused to trust in the Lord your God who goes before you looking for the best places for you to camp, guiding you with a pillar of fire by night and a pillar of cloud by day. Then the Lord heard your complaining. He became very angry, so he solemnly swore, none of you from this wicked generation will live to see the good land I swore to give to your ancestors, except Caleb, son of Jephunneh. He will see this land because he has followed the Lord completely. I will give to him all the descendants some of the very land he explored during his scouting mission. And the Lord was also angry with me because of you. He said to me, Moses, not even you will enter the promised land. Instead, your assistant Joshua, son of Nun, will lead the people into the land. Encourage him, for he will lead Israel to take possession of it, and I will give him the land. I will give the land to your little ones, your innocent children. You were afraid they would be captured, but they will be the ones who occupy it. As for you, turn around and go back through the wilderness toward the Red Sea. Then you confess, we have sinned against the Lord. We will go to the land and fight for it, as the Lord your God had commanded us. So your men strapped on their weapons, thinking it would be easy to attack the hill country, but the Lord told me to tell you, do not attack, I am not with you. If you go ahead on your own, you will be crushed by your enemies. This is what I told you, but you wouldn't listen. Instead, you rebelled against the Lord's command and arrogantly went into the hill country to fight. But the Amorites who live there came out against you like a swarm of bees. They chased and battered you all the way from Seir to Hormah. Then you returned and wept before the Lord, but he refused to listen, so you stayed there at Kadesh for a long time, remembering Israel's wanderings. Then we turned around and headed back across the wilderness toward the Red Sea, just as the Lord instructed me, and we wandered around in the region of Mount Seir for a long time. Then at last the Lord said to me, you have been wandering around in this hill country long enough. Turn to the north, give these orders to the people. You will pass through the country belonging to your relatives, the Edomites, the descendants of Esau, who live in Seir. The Edomites will feel threatened, so be careful. Do not bother them, for I have given them the hill country all around Mount Seir as their property, and I will not give 1 square foot of their land to you. If you need food or water to drink, pay them for it. For the Lord your God has blessed you in everything you've done and watched your every step through this great wilderness. During these 40 years, the Lord your God has been with you, and you've lacked nothing. So we bypassed the territory of our relatives, descendants of Esau, who lived in Seir. We avoided the road through the Arba Valley that comes up from Elath and Ezion-Geber. Then, as we turned north along the desert of Moab, the Lord warned us, do not bother the Moabites, the descendants of Lot, or start a war with them. I have given them Ar as their property, and I will not give you any of their land. A race of giants called Emites lived in the area of Ar. They were strong enough and numerous as the Anakites, another race of giants. Both of them are also known as Rephites, the Moabites called them. In earlier times, Horites lived in Seir, but they were driven out and displaced by the descendants of Esau, just as Israel drove out the people of Canaan. When the Lord gave Israel their land. Moses continued, then the Lord said to us, get moving, cross the Zered brook. So we crossed the brook. 38 years passed from the time we first left Kadesh until we finally crossed the Zered brook. Then all the men old enough to fight in battle died in the wilderness, as the Lord had vowed it would happen. The Lord struck them down until they had all been eliminated. When all the men of fighting age had died, the Lord said to me, today you will cross the border of Moab at Ar and enter the land of the Amorites, the descendants of Lot. But do not bother them or start a war with them. I have given them the land of Ammon as their property, and I will not give you any other land. The area was once considered the land of the Raphites who lived there. Though the Ammonites call them the Zamzumites. They were also strong and numerous, and tall as the Anakites, but the Lord destroyed them so the Ammonites could occupy their land. He had done the same for the descendants of Esau who lived in Seir, where he destroyed the Horites so they could settle in their place. The descendants of Esau live there to this day. A similar thing happened to the Caphtorites from Crete, invaded and destroyed the Avites, who lived in the villages in the area of Gaza. Moses continued, Then the Lord said, Now get moving, cross the Arnon Gorge. Look, I will hand over to you the Sihon, an Amorite, king of Heshbon, and I will give you his land. Attack him and begin to occupy the land. Beginning today, I will make the people throughout the earth terrified of you. When they hear reports of you, they will tremble with fear and dread. Victory over Sihon of Heshbon. Moses continued, From the wilderness of Kedmoth I sent ambassadors, King Sihon of Heshbon, with this proposal of peace. Let us travel through your land. We will stay on the main road, and we won't turn off into the fields on either side. Sell us food to eat and water to drink, and then we will pay for it. And all we want is permission to pass through the land. The descendants of Esau who live in Seir allowed us to go through their country, and so did the Moabites who live in Ar. Let us pass through until we cross the Jordan into the land of the Lord, into the land the Lord our God is giving us. But King Sihon of Heshbon refused to allow us to pass through, because the Lord your God made Sihon stubborn and defiant, so he could help you defeat him as he has now done. So the Lord said to me, Look, I have begun to hand King Sihon and his land over to you. Begin to conquer and occupy his land. Then the king declared war on us and mobilized his forces at Jahaz. But when the Lord our God handed him over to us, we crushed him, his sons, and all his people. We conquered all of his towns, completely destroyed everyone, and ransacked the town. The Lord our God also helped us conquer Aroer on the edge of Arnon Gorge, and the town in the gorge, the whole area as far as Gilead. Now the town walls were too strong for us. However, we avoided the land of the Ammonites all along the Jabbok River and the towns in the hill country, all the places the Lord our God had commanded us to leave alone. Victory over Og of Bashan. Next we turned and headed for the land of Bashan, where King Og and his entire army attacked us at Edrei. But the Lord told me, Do not be afraid of him, for I had given you victory over Og and his entire army, and will give you all of his land. Treat him just as you treated the king Sihon of Amorites, who ruled in Heshbon. So the Lord God handed King Heshbon and his people over to us, and we killed them all. Not a single person survived. We conquered all 60 of his towns, the entire Argob region in his kingdom of Bashan. Not a single town escaped the conquest. These towns were all fortified with high walls and barred gates, so we took many unwalled villages at the time. We completely destroyed the kingdom of Bashan, just as we destroyed the king Sihon of Heshbon. We destroyed all the people in every town we conquered, men, women, and children alike. We kept all the livestock for ourselves and took the plunder from all the towns. So we took the land of the two Amorite kings east of the Jordan River, all the way down from Arnon Gorge to Mount Hermon. Mount Hermon was called Saron by the Sidonians, and Amorites call it Senir. We had conquered all the cities on the plateau, and all Gilead and Bashan, as far as the towns of Silka and Edrei, which were part of King Og's from Bashan. In Bashan, King Og of Bashan was the last survivor of the Rephites. His bed was made of iron and was more than 13 feet long and 6 feet wide. It can still be seen in the Ammonite city of Rabbah. Land division east of Jordan. When we took possession of the land, I gave the tribes of Reuben and Gad the territory beyond Aroer and Arnon Gorge, plus half the hill country of Gilead and the towns, along with its towns. I gave the rest of Gilead to Bashan, Og's former kingdom, to half the tribe of Manasseh. Okay, that's it for that.